All right, all right, all right, all right. Whew. The start of the summer series is here. Whew, this is good. Let me get myself in order, you guys. No, I always make my notes for you. All right, just give me a minute. Okay, okay, good. I think this is ready now. Can you guys hear me? Just 1 second. Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me? Let me make sure that I'm good on my end here. Okay, good, good, good. So, welcome to the best summer business and tax success series you ever be on. Okay, oh, I've been looking forward to starting this. I've been so busy, but as you guys know, I can't help it. It's in my nature to share my knowledge because I know that we have to build an army that is not only building wealth, but is saving taxes and building a legacy. Okay, so welcome to the Summer's Business and Tax Success Series. And it's going to be incredible. We're going to be doing this probably for the next 7 weeks. So stay tuned. Every week, it's going to be something incredible. Today, I'm going to be focusing on two things, right? Two things. It's going to be the summer tax strategies every entrepreneur or business owner should know. And then I'm also going to talk about how to strategically involve your family in your business. Okay. So kind of just know what that is like for you as a business owner. If you have a family, how you can leverage the tax code to do what? Build wealth, save on taxes, build a legacy. All right. I have to dive in. I was making some notes for you guys. As you can see, I like to write. And a lot of the things I talk about are very near and dear to my heart. I've been serving the business community for so many years. And what I notice is when summer comes around, everyone just gets into fun mode. Okay. It's like, let's party, let's have some fun. But many entrepreneurs don't realize that this is your most strategic season when it comes to planning and taking a charge of your tax life. Okay. Because as a business owner, whether you like it or not, you have to deal with taxes. But when summer comes around and you're just having fun, in fact, let me give you an idea of what this looks like. During tax season, business owners come to us, right? We work on their taxes. Those that, screwed up the year before, maybe they didn't keep track or maybe they didn't pay attention to certain things. They look at their tax bill, they're mad. They're very frustrated and they're like, you know what? I'm going to do better this year. Guess what? They disappear for the whole year. They're distracted. Sometimes they're just working hard on their businesses. But when it comes to planning, especially with taxes, given that taxes is something that is somewhat predictable, you want to be on top of it all year round. It shouldn't just be something that is one of those things you get to deal with during tax season and it's done. No. So long as you're in business, so long as you're making money, and making a profit, because I hope you're in business to make a profit, you will always have to deal with taxes. And so it is my hope that you can leverage resources like myself to apply the strategies that have been made available to you as a business owner by the IRS, right? Because the tax code, like I always say, is meant to serve two groups of people: the business owner and the real estate investor. If you fall into one of these groups, the tax code is there to serve you. But you would never be able to take advantage of it if you're not talking to someone like myself who can help you plan, who can help you strategize, and who can help you get ahead of the game. All right. So, as I was planning for this summer series, today's session, as I said, we're going to be focusing on two topics. I'm going to start with the summer strategies every business owner should know and should be applying right now. And then we're going to ease into the family portion of things. All right. So, what's my number one strategy? As a business owner, especially if you've been running your business since January, you've been grinding and just getting things going. I don't know what kind of business you have because businesses are seasonal, but I'll tell you one thing: we're getting to the midpoint of the year. You should been doing a review. This is the time when you're pulling your profit and loss statement, you're reviewing your numbers. You want to understand, what has my business done so far? How have we performed? How much revenue have we made? What did it cost us? This is a time where you're looking at all those things that you've been implementing, right? Things like, maybe a marketing plan that you implemented. Maybe you decided to go full on social media advertising. During this mid-year review, you're looking at your profit and loss. You're asking yourself, based on the revenues we've made, does it align with the investments that we put in? Are we getting a return on our investment in this business? Right now, when you review your numbers, you're going to get a couple of things happen. You're going to notice if you guys are making money or not. Right. And my hope is you are making money better than the previous year. But if you're not, then you can start asking yourself questions like, what are we missing? What are we doing wrong? Now, if your business is a seasonal business where you do your best months are in the summer, that might not be your narrative. But at least by now, you understand the trends of your business. So there should be no surprises there. However, for someone who may have reviewed and realized, oh, we're making a lot of money this year, some of the things I want you to start considering is things like your tax withholding. Maybe you had set yourself a certain amount to withhold for estimated taxes. If you start becoming more profitable, this is a good time to consider realigning with that amount. Okay. Maybe you're on payroll for your company. If you're an S corp, this might be a good time to consider either increasing your salary and things like that, so you don't end up with a huge tax bill. If you're someone who has been doing some retirement withholding and funding your retirement, you might be able to maximize that. So this is a good time to understand how your business has performed so that you can take advantage of the different strategies that are available for you. All right. So strategy number one, mid-year review. You should know your numbers now. You should know how you're doing. You should know if you're doing well or not. You should know what is working, what is not working, how we can replicate or continue to implement what is working, and then how we can re-strategize, right? There's something that a lot of entrepreneurs do not pay attention to, and sometimes it's their overhead. There are a lot of people who are paying for big offices that they have no business maintaining. This might be a good time for you to review, right? Should I be maintaining this office? Do I even need it? Maybe with what you do, you work so well from home. Maybe you might want to change to a virtual office and just keep working from home so you save on that overhead. Again, depending on your kind of business, all right? But I'm just saying in general, this is a good time to do that kind of review, all right? This is very near and dear to my heart because, I'm a numbers person. And so everything we're doing in business needs to make sense, and it needs to be putting us on the path to do what? Build wealth, save taxes, build a legacy, okay? My next second point for you as a business owner, this summer, something I want you to think about is making those purchases for someone who is trying to accelerate their deductions. Okay. So what we see when we're doing our year-end reviews is a lot of people are thinking about buying a car at that time, right? Because you can leverage the bonus depreciation, which allows you to write off 100% of certain items that you purchase if you use them for business, or up to the percentage that is used for business. And there's also a section 179 deduction that allows you to be able to write off. You could literally combine the two to write off the full price of certain equipment or vehicles that you buy, depending on the rules that apply to that. With the cars, they need to be a certain size or weight, over 6,000 pounds and things like that. Now, during these months of summer, if you know that your business is looking really good, like you're getting very profitable, this is the best time to shop for your equipment, to shop for vehicles, to shop for maybe office expenditure, office equipment, office furniture. I get so excited when I talk. But this is like the best time to do those purchases. Again, it should make business sense. All right. I'm not telling you to just go and get a car because somebody told you can get a full write off, especially if you're not making money in your business. Or don't even try to get it just because you have a job where you're making a lot of money and you want to use your business to kind of, avoid paying taxes. No, it should make business sense, right? And it should be something that you're actually using for your business. So definitely something to consider. This is a good time to accelerate those deductions. Don't wait till year end when everyone is scrambling, and then sometimes it could become questionable, especially if the IRS cannot see how you're using those items to continue to build or grow your business. All right. Then the third thing I want you to do, dear entrepreneur, is make sure that you incorporate your your travel with business. This is a good time. I know during summer we're just having fun. We go to different places, we have fun. But think about it. If you're a business owner and you're going to, let's think of conventions, all right? For someone who is watching this, I'm originally from Cameroon. We have different tribal conventions. Now, if you're going to a convention as a business owner, to your convention, your tribal convention, for example, this is a good time to ask them if you can offer some free sessions that could serve as marketing for you, right? Where you can offer free educational sessions, kind of put your brand out there, and you never know, you could get a client. But what happens now is this would have been something that would just be purely fun, but here you are incorporating your business into it. Okay. And now you can be able to write off a portion of that trip. So this is something to think about, because when we're out partying, we're out doing all this fun stuff during the summer, and I know a lot of people do incredible travel. I see some pictures and I love them so much. But now I'm encouraging you as a business owner, don't just let these be fun. And I mean, it's okay to have some travel that is personal and has nothing to do with business. But if you could, why not? You could end up getting clients that could help you continue to expand on your business. Okay. And of course, the most important thing is to track. You always want to track. Make sure that you're tracking what you're doing that aligns with your business or that is for your business. Okay. Don't just wake up and say, I did something for business. No, we want to know specifically what that was. So don't try to be smart, because Uncle Sam will get you. Okay. So make sure that you're incorporating your summer travel with business activities. My fourth tip for you, see my notes, eh? So my fourth strategy for you guys is for you to review or start to document underutilized expenses. Okay. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. Underutilized expenses, in my opinion, is things like your home office deduction, your business mileage. I promise you, if you know the number of business owners that come to us during tax season and they don't really have clarity on a lot of these, right? Like they will tell me, "Oh, you know what? I do have a home office," but they don't know what that space is. The IRS is always interested in knowing what the square footage of that space, because when we calculate your expenses, we use, we're doing it in proportion to all the expenses that you paid, your total expenses. So we say if your home office is 300 square foot and you live in a 1200 square foot house, that's about help me with my math, that's like a quarter of your home, right? So in this case now, oh, that's 300. Sorry, did I say 400? Well, it's like a quarter of your home. Yes, it's 300, a quarter. So when we want to apply your expenses, we'll be writing off a quarter of those to apply to that home office. So you take 300 square foot divided by 1,200, right? That would likely bring you to a quarter. Then we would use that amount and we would apply it to your home expenses that you paid. So if you paid for electricity, for example, we would use that amount and apply it to your electricity bill. So if your electricity bill was, let's say, $1,000, then $250 will be allocated to your home office. You get the idea. So it's very important that if you haven't tracked that space, that you go ahead. These are things that I want you to look into this summer and document. Now, here is something that some business owners never realize. Your home office space is not tied to just one room. Because sometimes people tell me, I have my home office, but I also use a section of my house to store maybe goods that you sell online. Okay, so if you have an online store, for example, and you're using another section of your house to put those things, so long as you can no longer use that space for anything personal and it's being set aside now for your business products, that's also part of your business home office. So you can calculate that space and you could add it to the home office room that you have. And that together, you'll be able to divide to your total square footage and you get the percentage that you can use to apply or allocate your expenses. Okay. This is an underutilized area that I don't know, so many business owners just wing it. And if you think of, from the bills you pay, your rent, think about it. If you're renting your home, you're paying rent $1,000 every month, right? And 25% of that is a business expense. Isn't that incredible? That's something you get to write off. So this summer, I want you to take the time and document these spaces. Okay. The next thing that I want you to document is your mileage. I promise you, there's so many amazing apps out there. The most popular one I've seen our clients use and they love is Mile IQ. Sign up for Mile IQ and start using it. It will help to track all your business miles. A lot of you go for meetings, a lot of you meet up with clients, and you don't keep track of it. Then when you come to us, you want to estimate. And then when Uncle Sam tells you, I need documentation, you don't have it, right? So this summer, I want you to make a commitment that I will start to track these underutilized expenses. I say underutilized because I feel like they could really give you a huge tax break, help you save on taxes, and put some of that money back into your business or into your household. But if you don't have the proper documentation, guess what? You can claim it. And then the third one that I want you to really look into is the Augusta rule. Okay. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because as we do the summer series, I have a day I'm going to focus specifically on the Augusta rule. But what does this rule say? The Augusta rule says that you can rent your home to your business for up to 14 days in a year. Okay. And when you do that, guess what? Your your business gets to pay for renting your home from you, but you don't have to report that income to the IRS. All right. When I cover this in detail, I'll give you guys the history because it came from this city called Augusta in Georgia when they used to do some races, master races. I will tell you guys in detail how this tax law came about. But here's the beauty of it. If you're a business owner, right, and your business is set up as a C corporation, an S corporation, or a partnership, this is an incredible tax deduction you can use. Now, here's the catch: you cannot use both the Augusta rule and the home office deduction. You have to choose one. So you see how this thing is, right? You can use both. You get to choose one. But guess what? It's during the summer now that you can do a good estimate of which one will better favor you. In my opinion, if you're an S corp, for example, the Augusta rule should be your go-to all the time. You should be using your house to host board meetings. You should be using your house to host a mastermind. You know, that's where you bring your CPA to hold sessions with you and your team members. And when you do these things, you get to rent your home to your business. You can use the fair market value of the rental for that day. And guess what? If you do it strategically, as I'm telling you, around major holidays or big events, you can even get a bigger deduction. All right. Oh, you guys, I'm so excited. Let me stop. But these are three things I want you to look into. Okay. These three unutilized business expenses: the home office, the vehicle mileage, and the star rule. Some things to look into. Okay. So, hey, I see you guys on there. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining today. All right. So that was my fourth one. My fifth one now, under summer tax and business strategies every entrepreneur should know, is for you to review your business entity structure. Guys, this is very important. There are a lot of you right now that have started doing businesses and you didn't register it, and that's okay, right? That's fine. Like if you're testing an idea, let's say someone came to you and said you should get into selling Mary Kay, for example, or maybe doing, one of these many MLMs that are out there. Oh, no, let me not pick on an MLM, but any business that you wanted to try out, you didn't necessarily register it, but you started doing it and you feel like this thing is picking up and it's coming together really well. I would encourage you to definitely consider registering the business and at least getting some protection. Okay. I don't believe everyone needs to rush to register a business as an LLC. Especially if it's something that you're just testing out. If it's a seasonal thing that you do once in a while, but you don't necessarily have to keep doing it, and then you're not planning to build it to the next level. Maybe an opportunity came to you and you're like, I'm going to leverage this, and you don't have a lot of liability exposure. I would say you don't really need to register. Now, if you started a business and you feel like it's picking up, it's beginning to have some substance, I would like to build on this and take it to the next level, then I definitely want you to consider at least registering your business as an LLC. And also, if this business allows you to interact with a lot of people for the purposes of you protecting yourself, you want to get an LLC. Now, an LLC stands for Limited Liability Company. When you register as an LLC, it doesn't necessarily mean you have any tax advantages. No. If you didn't register your business and you filed your taxes as a sole proprietor, you will be treated the same way as someone who registered an LLC as a single member. Okay? So registering an LLC does not immediately translate to any tax advantages. There's not. However, When you register your business as an LLC, it gives you flexibility on how you can be treated for taxes. That's where those advantages can come, because now if you're smart about how you want to be treated for taxes, then you get to really enjoy that flexibility that comes with at least having your business already registered as an LLC. Okay. And what do I mean? If you've already registered your business as an LLC, guess what? You could bring in more partners to become a multi-member LLC, and you'll be filing a partnership return. Now, that has its own ups and downs, benefits, pros and cons. I'll be talking about that later on. As an LLC, you can choose to be treated as an S corporation for tax purposes, where the IRS will treat your business as completely separate from you, the owner. You can pay yourself a salary, and your business can write off your salary as a business deduction. Okay. Now, even better, if you're an LLC, just as a regular LLC, you know you cannot get an investor from a foreign country. You can't. But if, let's say, you got fortunate enough, you have a family member who lives in Cameroon, who lives in, Mexico, who lives in, Brazil, and they like your business, and they say, you know what, cousin, I want to invest in your business. Guess what? As an LLC, you can make an election for your business to be treated as a C corporation for tax purposes. So you see what I'm saying about the LLC? In itself, it doesn't have an immediate tax benefit, but once, because of you having the entity registered, it gives you options, and those options is what can bring about a lot of those tax benefits. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is review your entity structure. If you don't have one set up, set it up. The second thing now is, if you already are registered as an LLC, it looks like I lost connection. Okay, I'm back. I think I'm back. Okay, so if your business is already registered as an LLC, however, you're becoming very profitable, so you're probably making about $40,000 to $50,000 in profits, I think this is a good time for you to maybe consider becoming an S corporation. Now, do I think the S corporation is the best thing that can ever happen to a business owner? Not necessarily. I'm sure you read my post a few days about the S corporation. Now, the S corporation is an incredible tax entity structure. Okay, it's not something you can go to your state and register your business as. It is an election you make with the IRS, where you tell them, I want you to treat me as an entity that is separate from me, the owner. So I'll have my business, which is a small corporation in the eyes of the IRS, and then you have me, the individual. What's the advantage of that? The advantage of that is, because my business and I are not one, we're separate, my business can hire me as an employee, even though I'm also the owner. My business can pay me, my business can get the deduction. The reason for that is because I want to save on self-employment taxes. Where did this come from? Remember, I said when you're an LLC, single member LLC, or you're sole proprietor, you don't have a tax advantage. If you work for yourself, the IRS treats you as self-employed, period. So when you file your taxes, you will normally report your income and expenses on a Schedule C. Now, if you make a profit on your Schedule C, all of that profit is treated as what you took home as the business owner. So now, not only do you have to pay income tax on your profit, you get to pay self-employment tax on that. Self-employment tax alone is 15.3%. Now, if you had income from your other sources like a job, or if you're married and your spouse brought in income, guess what? Your profit is going to be taxed at an income bracket where all your other incomes have brought you to. Okay, so now you're paying taxes on your net profit, and you're also paying self-employment taxes on that. So in order for you to save on these self-employment taxes, you will normally do that entity election to say, okay, treat my business as separate from me. That way, when my business pays me, my business gets the deduction. When you're filing on a Schedule C, your business cannot pay you as a salaried employee. Why? Because your profit is already paying self-employment taxes. So it makes no sense for your business to be paying you wages and withholding Social Security and Medicare. Okay. So when we do separate it from you, it becomes an amazing tax strategy. Oh, every time I get into S Corp, I realize I'm taking so much time because it's such a heavy section, such a heavy topic, and I'm going to cover it again in detail. Okay. If you're a business owner who has an LLC currently registered and you see that your business is beginning to make a profit, which is significant consistently, you might consider becoming an S corp. Under the S corp, your business can pay you a salary and write that off as a business deduction. Now, not only that, there are other advantages to that come. Like, you remember we talked about the Augusta rule. This becomes the best platform for you to leverage the Augusta rule, where because your business is separate from you, the owner, now you can rent from yourself. Your business can rent from you, and the business gets to pay for that. And then not only that, because you're an employee of your business, expenses that you incur as an employee, guess what? They are reimbursable by the business, because employees, right now, employees don't write off expenses that they incur for a business, right? It's not a deduction to an employee. So the business normally will have to reimburse the employee. So you see the different strategies that are available, and there are many more, right? But we always want to make sure that this strategy is aligned with you as a business owner. Because the fact that an S corp could be great, it might not be beneficial to you who has 3 kids that you could be employing in your business. Because if you employ 3 kids in your business, and I'm going to come to that, that's a huge tax deduction where going through the hula hoops of becoming an S corp, filing a separate return, all of those things, the compliance, you might not even need it. All right. So, but this is a time for you to consider your entity structure. All right. Remember, I said you should review. So, if you review, if you don't have an entity, if you haven't registered your business and it is growing and you see that you want to pursue it, register your business. Okay. If you're becoming very profitable and you want to have options, maybe it's time to consider becoming an S corp. If you have a potential investor that is not a US citizen, US resident, you could consider becoming a C corporation, right? And then the last one, if you had an entity structure that is open for a long time and you're not using it, close it. Close it. You not die. You I know you have emotional attachment to that business name because it's like, that's my business name. But it's been 5 years. You have not done that business. Close it. It's okay. Shut it down. Okay. So register, elect, or close. All right. Register, elect, S corp or C corp, or close it. It's okay. You can always come back to that idea when you're ready. All right. Now, my sixth one. This is more business, but it also translates tax wise. As an entrepreneur, please spend your summer learning a new skill or advancing your knowledge. It's very, very important. Very important. In fact, what I notice with a lot of entrepreneurs is they keep doing the same thing, but then they'll see someone who is in their same space is making way more money, and they're wondering, like, what is that person doing differently? Or sometimes I was there before the person. It's because they know something you don't know. Okay. Even when we talk about these tax strategies, hang out with me throughout summer. By the end of summer, you'll be a G, like you go to your CPA and your tax person and you educate them. You say, look, I've been following my favorite cousin. You okay, Dr. Mbinglo on Facebook? Because if you've been following me for a long time, we're family members, we're cousins, whether you like it or not. So now you can tell them this is what she said. Can we consider applying it? Take time to educate yourself. Don't keep doing the same thing. I know your business requires so much of your time, but use the summer to advance your knowledge. Go to conferences. Sometimes you might even have a seasonal business that gets slow at certain times. What are some other things you can continue to do under your business that will help you to bring in more revenue? Okay, maybe you're a tax person like myself. During tax season, you're busy, but it gets slow during the summer. Can you consider teaching? Can you consider, maybe writing books? There are so many things you can do to diversify your services, even for your business, but you have to acquire the skills. All right. And then my last one for every entrepreneur, which is going to take us to part 2, is to make sure that you hire your kids. All right. If you're an entrepreneur and you have kids, make sure you hire your kids. I think this one, if you've been hanging around me and you're not leveraging this strategy, we have a problem. We need to talk, okay? I even have a whole book on it. How your kids save taxes, build a legacy. If you haven't grabbed it, it's on Amazon. Make sure you grab a copy. Next week, we're going to focus on this topic specifically, but at least let me start on it, okay? So when it comes to hiring your kids, this is summer. If you're an entrepreneur and you have kids between the ages of 7 to 17, you should be getting yourself a good tax write-off and having them do some work in your business and paying them some money that they have actually earned. All right. So the IRS allows you to be able to hire your kids in your business, and you can pay them up to the standard deduction. Okay. Do you know how much the standard deduction is for 2026? $16,100. So you can pay Those kids that you've been spending all this money feeding all year long, each of them, they can work and make 16,000. In fact, how about this? You have three kids between the ages of 7 to 17. Just pay them. In fact, each month for all of them, just pay them. Even if you're just paying them 1,000 a month for the work they do for 12 months a year, and you have three of them, that's $36,000 of business expense that your business gets to write off. And you know the best part, because they are your kids and they are working in your business, or if you have a partnership with your spouse, only with your spouse, because they are your kids, they don't have to pay Social Security on Medicare. And because they are earning under the standard deduction, they don't have to file any taxes. So here you are having a tax break. You're transferring wealth to your children, which you can use to create retirement accounts for them, investment accounts. We're going to talk about this in detail next week. But can you imagine the power in that, right? Just so many ways for you to create wealth for your family, to continue to build a legacy. I mean, it's incredible. And then you're also helping your kids to become entrepreneurs or just learn real leadership skills, right? Definitely something to explore. And this brings me now to the second part of our conversation today. Okay. If you have any questions, please send it. Because I have a lot to cover, I'm going to take questions at the end, but I want to go ahead and finish my part two. And my part two was how you can strategically involve your family in your business. Okay. So I started with food for everybody. You understand? Because now I'm going to have, the entrepreneurs will say, then what about those of us that don't have family? It's okay. I mean, if you're 18, I don't expect you to have family. Even if you're whatever, not everybody needs to have family. At least I've given you some food, right, to eat. Now I want to focus on the entrepreneurs that have family. Because you're working hard, and I'm sure your family members are already helping you in your business. Why don't we bring them in strategically? Okay, I already started talking about hiring your kids, but I who has been hesitant about bringing their family members into their business. Okay, think about it. When you bring your family into your business, there are a couple of things you're doing here, and in my opinion, I feel like a lot of these billionaire families have figured it out a long time. There's a powerful transfer that happens when you have your kids or your spouse or other family members involved in your business. Okay, the first thing is you get to transfer knowledge. I think for those who are joining me today, I'm sure you know one or two families or many families where the head of the family died and the business went under the ground. Why? Because there was nobody that they were transferring their knowledge to. They went to work, they did everything they were doing there, they had staff members, but they never involved their family members. When you involve your family members, the first thing that you pass on is knowledge. It's knowledge. Even if they don't end up running your business, they will know what it took for you to build your empire, and they can replicate that in their own lives. Okay. The next thing is that you get to pass on your vision. There are a lot of people that have visions, but their kids don't even know. There are heads of families that have visions, their wives don't even know. Or wives who have visions and their husbands don't even know, because we're not having those conversations. You're like, well, he or she is working on their job. I'm just building the business. No, you want to bring them in. Let them know why you're doing what you're doing. Yes, you bring in the money, but there should be more to it. And guess what? It's even going to cause them to be more committed to that once they can capture your vision with you, right? The next thing that you get to pass on is skills. When you bring them on and you have your family members working on different things in your business, you're helping to develop their skill sets in different areas or leverage what they already have and build them up. I think that's so powerful. And then, of course, the most powerful one that I think for me, everyone should consider is passing on your values. Now, there's money that's going to be passed on. We already talked about it. When you hire your kids, you're transferring wealth. But you see the value part, it's crucial. We used to say there were many wealthy people that would have kids, and the kids would spend money anyhow and just waste their money, and when they pass away, everything is gone. It's because you never passed on your values to your kids. Your values are your most precious assets. Because for me, anyone can learn a skill set, but you see, values, it's integral to who you are. And when you're able to pass that to the people around you, it really helps to mold who they become and the way they manage resources and the way they invest resources, right? Because if you haven't made kids to understand that, look, I learned this during a recent board retreat with the founder. Oh my God, he shared something with us about not being a Dead Sea, right? He said the Dead Sea is so toxic because it receives from everywhere, but it doesn't pass on to others. So if your value system is, I will never be a Dead Sea, I will take what I know, my wealth of knowledge, even my resources, and I will always make sure that I use it to improve the lives of other people. That's a value system that when you pass on to your next generation, it will transform them for generations to come. That means the wealth you build will be consistent, will continuously be invested in improving the lives of other people. So this is so important, okay? And then of course the last one, you're going to transfer wealth. All right. So remember, when you bring your family into your business, you're transferring knowledge, you're transferring skill set, you're transferring wealth, you're transferring your values, you're transferring your vision, which is so important. All right. So now let's go on to talk about the different strategies you can leverage here. I've talked about the why, but the first one was hiring your kids. I'm not going to spend time next week. Please come on next week because I'm going to talk about this in detail. The second thing you want to do, if your wife or your spouse, let's say, let me not just say wife or husband, right? If your spouse is not a partner in your business, but they help you at home, please hire them. Okay, hire them in your business, because when you hire them, who look, you're getting additional deductions. But the part that I like the most is two of you can maximize how much you contribute towards retirement. Have you guys heard, like, most entrepreneurs are so scared to retire? Why? Because a lot of us never invest in our retirement for when we age. So you have a lot of entrepreneurs who are going into their 60s and 70s, and their biggest fear is, how am I going to take care of myself? Unlike employees who have their companies, helping them to set aside the money for retirement, because they take it out, is that you get the tax break, but you also have the company matching part of that money and helping you prepare for retirement. Many entrepreneurs, they don't do that. So when you hire your wife, guess what? You're increasing the limit that you guys can contribute towards your retirement. Okay, your wife can even get health insurance through your company, and things like that. So definitely consider hiring your spouse if they are not a partner in the business. Okay. I don't necessarily think everybody's spouse should be a partner in the business. If it's not their thing, it's okay. Sometimes some businesses have licensing stuff and things like that. You don't necessarily have to bring your spouse as a partner, since it's family, it's still owned by the family. But you can hire your spouse because there are all these added benefits that come into that. Okay. If you haven't bought my books, please get it. Okay. From Vows to Ventures, because I cover a lot of this information. So please get that. Okay. So that's the next thing. So make sure you hire your spouse if they are not a partner. That's a good way to go. The third thing I want you to do, if you're a business owner who has a family that could add value to your business, is for you to form your board of directors. This summer, I talk about this all the time, but if you haven't done it, you have to do it this summer. Okay. Why? If you're set up as an S corp or C corp, if you made the election. Now, if you're an LLC, you may not necessarily have a board of directors, but you can have a board of advisors. It's the same thing, right? When you create this board, especially if you have kids that are over 18, because people always ask me, what about my kids that are over 18? If you have kids that are over 18, or if you have siblings that you travel with and things like that, you can have them come to your board, especially if you know that these are people that can add value to your business. You guys now can hold family board, you can hold your board meetings. When you hold your board meetings now, these are deductions to your business. Not only are you picking their brain, not only are you getting to build something that they are all a part of, but guess what? If you guys were doing a family trip, you can incorporate your board meeting to that trip. Now that's a business deduction, right? I talked about the Augusta rule. Guess what? You can actually rent your home to your business if you're an S corp, and you guys can leverage it for the business, for the board meeting. Okay, you can hold the board meetings, you can hold strategy sessions, you can brainstorm together, and it starts to change the conversation. So instead of just meeting and eating, now you have something structured, but you're also having time as a family. So guys, please don't let me down on this one, okay? I'm with you on this. Bring in your family. They're already giving you ideas to begin with. Now, how about we document it? Okay, you have that uncle that is always telling you, watch out for that your partner or watch out for that your employee. Now bring him, let him be on the table and let's have the conversation, right? You're already hanging out with them, you're already spending time with them. Why not bring them on board? And you can leverage now some of your family travels, incorporate it with board meetings. Guys, it's a win-win. You can use the Augusta rule to be able to rent your home to your business and you get a tax break. Come on, right? Don't let me down on this one. I'm serious. Okay. And then, oh, the big thing you have to document. Please get my book, Vows to Ventures. I talk about this in detail. I will still talk about it in the following weeks as we go. But document. When it comes to the IRS, the most important thing is your documentation. Okay, document what you guys talked about, who was in attendance. I offer templates in the book. If you scan the template, you have something you can use where you can document what was discussed when the meeting held, resolutions and things like that. If you need help even with questions, we'll provide that to guide these conversations. Okay, that was my third one. Oh my goodness, we're going. Okay, then the fourth one is now for those of you that have family members that help you in your business, please create legit job descriptions for them. Okay, you have people that you could pay them, get tax breaks, but you're not doing it in a structured manner. You just give them money. I have a lot of people that say, I paid them through Cash App. You have to stop that. This summer, invest the time to create structured job opportunity description so that you have something documented. To the IRS, it's about your documentation. I wanted to touch on this because people don't do that a lot, and I see that happen during tax season. And now the family member is like, nope, you're not about to report that income to the IRS. But if you want to do it right, then let's have it structured so that they themselves understand that you're serious about this. They shouldn't just come anytime and take money and go, but you're serious. Okay, use this summer for that. My fifth one now, and I want to challenge all of us as business owners. This is a good time to think about successorship. So while you're spending summer with your family, start looking at their different skill sets, right? As you're creating, as you're thinking about what am I going to do? Am I going to sell my business? Am I going to retire on this business? Like, what is going to happen? This is a good time to be having those conversations. You want to have your SOPs, right? You want to start thinking, what's your exit plan? It sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, time goes by fast. And because this has been, I don't know if I should sell or pass it on to my kids, but I'm worried that they cannot take over the business. So this is the time to really start thinking about successorship. So as you're bringing your family members, start looking at the people that have the right skill sets, and then think of where you can send them to develop. Maybe it's leadership. You know, I always say if you want to get your kids to a good place in your business, have them in sales. Have them do something sales related, because sales will teach them a lot. Sales is one of those things that if you can grab that skill, you're likely going to win in life in anything that you do. Bring them in sales. That's the first thing, because you want that even if you're not there, they know what it's like to sell your business to somebody else. Then, of course, you want to have them to look into leadership. All right. So you're creating your SOPs, you're thinking about your trust, you're thinking about your wills, you're thinking about your exit plan, your buy sell agreements kind of things. But you definitely want to factor that in. If you plan to sell the business and not have your kids involved, that's good. But if you do intend to have them involved, please, this summer, let them go to camps. Let them develop those skill sets. Don't wait until, something happens and then you feel like you failed yourself. All right. So those were the 5 things that I had for you guys to kind of get the series started. I hope that you're going to implement these. I can't wait to hear from you guys. I'm going to go through and see if there are any questions for me to answer. Guys, like I told you, I did these notes for you. Okay. Like, I'm so excited that we talked about all these things. Next week, something I will talk about, because I've had some people ask me, is the family management company. I didn't talk about it today a lot, but that's for people who are set up as an S Corp that hire their kids in their business, how to go about it. Okay. So I'm going to touch on that. I put that for today because it's aligned with a specific business entity structure. So when we talk about hiring kids next week, I'm going to talk about that in detail. So let's see if I have any questions. Let me get my mouse over here. Was this good though? Was this helpful? Thank you all who are. Oh my God, this is amazing. Let me see if I have any questions I need to address. And of course, remember, I'm always doing the complimentary 15-minute sessions. If you have a question that is particular to your business and you want to pick on my brain, I'm always happy to have those conversations with you. Okay. Maybe you have questions you don't want to ask in public. I do my complimentary meetings because I want to build our community. All right. Because I tell you guys, look, you'll hardly find a CPA that is going to offer that kind of gift. 15 minutes for free, pick on my brain, hop on it. And those that have had the opportunity to sit with me, they know that 15 minutes feels like a whole hour because I will make sure that you're well fed before you go, answer all your questions, and hopefully get you off the right track. Okay. I'm just going to check again, make sure that I don't have any questions that I'm missing out on. Thank you all so much for being here. Oh my God, I see so many people in the building. Thank you all for showing up. I think I'm good. I'm not seeing any questions so far. Did I explain everything? Um, Thank you so much. Oh my God. Yes. Let's see. I think we are good. I got a question for you. Yes. Someone here. Zenabu says she has a question. Yes. Please go ahead. Wait. Say you have a question. Got a question. Yeah. I don't see the question. If you want to go ahead and type it in, um, unless I missed it. Did I miss it? So, and this summer too, I'm definitely going to be talking about those that are thinking about registering their businesses in the US, business or nonprofits. I'm excited for that one. Like, if you've been thinking about registering your business in the US, I will have a conversation on that to give you guidance and talk about the benefits and things for you to watch out for. Because I believe this is one of those areas that people would normally go online and they'll just register a business, but they don't know the things that come later on if you don't have someone that can follow things up for you or help you with certain annual filings, and then you end up getting someone to fund to invest in your business and your business is inactive. So we will talk about that. And then for those that want to set up nonprofits to seek funding from the US, this summer is going to be good, so you better stay tuned. All right. I don't think I have any more questions. Thank you all so much for joining. I think we are good here. I'm going to check in with our team. I don't think we have anything going on, right? I'm checking with our team to see if there's something. I think this thing is live on so many platforms. It's kind of exciting. They told me it's live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. I don't see any. I think um, yeah, I think we are good here. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all for joining. And if you have questions that you didn't send yet, you can always still send it to me later. I'll probably answer in the future sessions. But this is going on all summer long. Okay. Make sure you tell a friend, invite your friends, business owners. It's going to be Summer Business and Tax Success Series throughout the summer, and I will be dropping really good stuff, so you don't want to miss any sessions. Thank you all so much for being here. It's time for me to go, and if I haven't acknowledged anyone, I'm going to be doing that in a few. I think this team is telling me it's time to get off. All right, you guys be safe, enjoy your summer. This is again your favorite cousin, Dr. Lilly Mbinglo, Abacus Finest, actually worldwide finest and only CPA. We'll be in touch. All right. See you guys in future sessions. If you haven't grabbed my books, the links have been on here. If you want to schedule a free session, don't forget, go to our website, www.arcnps.com. Get your free 15 minutes. Yeah, why not? It's there for you to leverage. Okay. Bye, guys. Have a good one.